श्री राकेश जिंदल सर, पूर्व चेयरमैन गाजियाबाद ब्रांच और आज के सेशन चेयरमैन श्री सुमित बंसल जी, गेस्ट स्पीकर श्री नितिन गुप्ता सर, मॉडरेटर श्री आयुष मुत्तल जी, कोऑर्डिनेटर माननीय श्री आदित्य गुप्ता जी, हमारे चेयरमैन विनीत भाई, सिकासा चेयरमैन प्रवीण भाई, पूर्व ब्रांच चेयरमैन और कोषाध्यक्ष एवं सारे श्रोतागण, आप सभी को प्रणाम, नमस्कार। मैं ब्रांच चेयरमैन आदित्य गुप्ता जी से अनुरोध करूंगा कि अपना उद्बोधन भाषण दें।
धन्यवाद अमित तिवारी जी, सेक्रेटरी गाजियाबाद ब्रांच। रेस्पेक्टेड सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर सी अनुज गोयल जी, रेस्पेक्टेड रीजनल काउंसिल पास्ट रीजनल काउंसिल चेयरमैन सी मुकेश बंसल जी, our very senior एवं past chairman Ghaziabad branch and session of this chairman CA Rakesh Jindal ji, our guest speaker CA Sumit Bansal ji, and he is also a very dynamic and active member of our Ghaziabad branch. CA Nitin Gupta ji, our CP committee convener, CA Vineet Rathi ji, our Sikasa chairman, Praveen Singhal ji, our treasurer and past chairman of Ghaziabad branch, and all the delegates. First of all, I welcome all of you from the core of my heart. Friends, सर्वप्रथम मैं प्रभु का धन्यवाद करता हूं कि आज हम सभी लोग सुरक्षित और हालांकि बड़ा डरा हुआ सा माहौल है, लेकिन फिर भी सभी लोग सुरक्षित और आपस में बैठकर ये अपने प्रोफेशन से रिलेटेड इस तरीके के प्रोग्राम कर पा रहे हैं। मैं प्रभु से प्रार्थना भी करता हूं कि जल्द से जल्द हम लोगों को भयमुक्त और एक अच्छा वातावरण प्रदान करें ताकि हम सब मिलकर अपने सभी इन वेबिनारों को सेमिनारों में कन्वर्ट कर सकें। साथियों, गाजियाबाद शाखा निरंतर रूप से अपने सभी सदस्यों के लिए, उनके ज्ञानवर्धन के लिए नए नए कार्यक्रम, नए नए विषयों पर जो ज्वलंत हमारे विषय होते हैं उनके ऊपर वेबिनार और सेमिनार करने के लिए हमेशा उत्सुक रहती है। और हम लोगों को अपने सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर, रीजनल काउंसिल मेंबर्स और सभी साथियों का पूर्ण सहयोग मिलता है कि हम ये सब अधिक से अधिक संख्या में ये सब जो कार्यक्रम कर सकें। अभी हम 3 दिन तक लगातार इसी तरीके की वेबिनार्स का आयोजन
some electricity problem is there. I think we can go ahead. You are on mute, Amit ji.
I request CA Mukesh Bansal sir, past chairman CRRC, for his address, sir, please. Okay, sir.
Thank you, CA Amit ji, Secretary of the branch. Highly respected CA Anuj Goyal ji, Central Council member from our own city Ghaziabad. CA Rakesh Jindal ji, Session Chairman of today's program as well as past Chairman of the branch. CA Aditya Gupta ji, Chairman of the branch. CA Sumit Bansal, guest speaker of the today's session. CA Nitin Gupta ji and Ayush Mittal ji, coordinator of the program, and Vineet Rathi ji, Sikasa chairman, and all the participants. Very good evening to all of you. जैसा भी आदित्य कह रहा है, इट इज वेरी गुड टू सी कि हमारी ब्रांच ने हमेशा ही कोशिश की है कि जो भी कंटेम्प्रेरी टॉपिक हैं, जो भी रेलिवेंट टॉपिक हैं, हम उस पर कुछ ना कुछ प्रोग्राम करते रहते हैं, चाहे वेबिनार्स का है या जब फिजिकल थे तो हम सेमिनार करते थे। आज का जो टॉपिक है, इनकम टैक्स में रिसेंटली चेंजेस हुए हैं और दिस इज पर्टिकुलरली विद रेफरेंस टू सेक्शन 206C 194Q, जिसमें टीडीएस और टीसीएस का बेसिक प्रोविजन है और दिस इज बीइंग एप्लीकेबल फ्रॉम 1 जुलाई। ये प्रोविजन 1 जुलाई से एप्लीकेबल होने वाला है। हमारे साथ सुमित बंसल जी हैं, ही विल बी डेलिब्रेटिंग ऑन दिस। और बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है बिकॉज इसमें एकदम सडन चेंज आया है। पहले जो ऑनर्स था, जो लाइबिलिटीज थी, वो सेलर के ऊपर थी। ही हैज टू कलेक्ट द टीसीएस फ्रॉम हिज बायर, और अब जो ऑनर्स हो गया वो पेमेंट के ऊपर, दैट इज फ्रॉम परचेजर व्हेनेवर वी मेक एनी परचेज। इसमें बेसिक क्राइटेरिया क्या है कि अगर मेरी लास्ट ईयर की सेल, फाइनेंशियल ईयर की सेल 10 करोड़ से ऊपर है और जिस पार्टी से, जिस पर्सन से मेरी डीलिंग 50 लाख से ऊपर है, देन व्हेनेवर आई एम मेकिंग हिम पेमेंट, तो मुझे ये इंश्योर करना है कि मुझसे उस पर टीडीएस डिडक्ट करना है। किस टीडीएस डिडक्ट करना है, क्या उसकी टाइमलाइन से, कैसे डिपॉजिट होगा, ये सब बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट इशू है। बिकॉज अगर हम ये कंप्लायंस नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि प्रैक्टिस में कंप्लायंस सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। अगर हम ये कंप्लायंस नहीं करेंगे, अपने क्लाइंट्स को गाइड नहीं करेंगे, then we shall be not able to discharge our responsibility in the way that is desired. तो सीए सुमित बंसल जी हमारे साथ हैं, he will be deliberating on this कि हमें सारी प्रोविजंस को कैसे कंप्लाई करना है. I will not be taking much time because we have to hear our speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. CA Anuj Goyal, sir, Central Council member, you are kindly requested and invited to address.
Thank you, CA Dr. Amit Tiwari ji, Honorable Secretary of Ghaziabad Branch. We are having the presence of CA Mukesh Bansal ji, our past chairman, Central India Regional Council, and my brother. We are having the presence of CA Rakesh Jindal ji, a very senior member of the profession and past chairman Ghaziabad Branch. And of course, we are having our leaders of the profession from Ghaziabad Branch. CA Praveen Singhal ji, our honorable past chairman, CA Dr. Amit Tiwari ji, secretary of the branch, Vineet Rathi ji, and Aditya ji will be joining soon, the honorable chairman of the branch. And we are having a very prominent resource person today, CA Sumit Bansal ji, and of course our coordinator, CA Ayush Mittal ji, other office bearers of Ghaziabad branch, and all the members present here. The topic which has been selected, recent changes in TDS and TCS provisions under income tax. I think we were just discussing before the start of the webinar that these provisions are very important, and even if we do have the non-compliance, even the prosecutions are there. So one has to be very careful as far as TDS and TCS provisions are concerned. And lot number of changes, as told by Mukesh Bansal ji, are there in this Finance Act also. So I think Ghaziabad branch thought it fit to have a specific virtual CP program only on recent changes in TDS and TCS provisions. I welcome Sri Aditya Gupta ji. Welcome back. आदित्य जी को काफी काम रहते हैं, तो वो बार थोड़ा सा दूसरे काम करके वापस आ जाते हैं. नहीं सर, no, I know it. So I will request all our honorable members that income tax, in spite of the fact that now the chartered accountants are contributing in each and every field, whether it is GST, whether it is capital market. Mukesh ji know that capital market is very important for the chartered accountants, and chartered accountants can very well can do really wonders in the field of capital market. But our backbone of the profession, since 1984, at least, Rakesh Jindal sir, 1984, when the Tax Audit and the Income Tax Act was introduced, I think from that day, the chartered accountants are practicing in a great way in income tax. Before that, of course, even in income tax, the advocates' dominance was there. But when the audit and income tax came into the purview of the CA fraternity, and from that day, I think chartered accountants are practically now having more than 80% practice of the direct taxes is with the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Even at the High Court or Supreme Court, Rakesh sir, even at High Court or Supreme Court, chartered accountant and advocate. Sumit Bansal ji will also be now very soon chartered accountant and advocate. Only in Ghaziabad, you will find at least 20 chartered accountants turned advocate. And if you talk of whole of the country, thousands of chartered accountants turned advocates are there. But practically at High Court and Supreme Court also, 90% practice of the direct taxes is with the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India only. So that is the expertise, that is the dedication, that is the devotion of the chartered accountants. And as the chartered accountants are the best accounting professionals across the globe, no professional can understand the income tax changes, provisions, can update their knowledge better than a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So I'm quite confident that all of us will be benefited and will have a very good knowledge of the amendments which are there in the TDS and TCS provisions. And I compliment Ghaziabad branch led by Aditya ji that specifically only and only for TDS and TCS provisions changes we have kept this webinar, because these provisions, as we were discussing earlier, also are very important. And I welcome CA Nitin Gupta ji, our honorable coordinator, and who is also taking very keen interest to see that how we can try to contribute for the cause of the members and for the cause of the professor. So without taking your further time, as we are very eager to hear CA Rakesh Jindal ji, our honorable chairman of this technical session, and CA Sumit Bansal ji, I once again compliment CA Mukesh Bansal ji, our honorable leader from Ghaziabad in the central region, and all the leaders of the profession from Ghaziabad, Aditya Gupta ji, the chairman, Praveen Singhal ji, our Dhan Kuber and the past chairman, Nitin Gupta ji, CA Dr. Amit Tiwari ji, secretary of the Ghaziabad branch, and Vineet Rathi ji, Sikasa chairman, and our coordinator, Ayush Mittal ji, and all our honorable leaders present. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful address. May I request CA Rakesh Jindal, sir, session chairman, may I invite him for chair the session and take it further. Rakesh Jindal, sir, please.
Thank you very much. CA Anuj Goyal ji, Central Council member, और इधर आवाज बीच में आ रही है।
म्यूट पे कर देता हूं।
हेलो, हाँ जी,
या यू कैन गो अहेड।
जी, मुझे याद है अनुज गोयल जी मेरे समय में भी सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर हुआ करते थे, और देखिए कितना लंबा समय हो गया उनको सेंट्रल काउंसिल में होते हुए, और इसका बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा गाजियाबाद को हमेशा मिला। मुझे अपने समय की भी याद है, और आज तक भी हम देख रहे हैं कि उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन ब्रांच में उनका होने से ही जो है कितना गाजियाबाद को फ़ायदा हुआ है। इतने अच्छे स्पीकर्स उन्होंने गाजियाबाद में और लगातार प्रोग्राम देते रहे, और उसकी वजह से हम लोग बहुत बेनिफिटेड हुए, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। मेरे छोटे भाई मुकेश बंसल जी जो पास चेयरमैन हैं रीजनल काउंसिल के, उनका भी बहुत कंट्रीब्यूशन हमारे गाजियाबाद को रहा। और मुझे आज भी याद है कि एक ज़माना था जब गाजियाबाद ब्रांच का चेयरमैन बनाने के लिए हमें लोगों को बड़ा जोर लगाना पड़ता था, और फिर होता था कि भाई जो है एक छोटी सी ब्रांच होती थी रवि कुमार जी के ऑफिस के बराबर में, और ये कहा जाता था भाई तू बन जा यार, तू बन जा चेयरमैन, और वो लोग कहते थे नहीं मैं नहीं बनूंगा और आज वो समय आया जबकि जो है इतनी अच्छी जो है कंट्रीब्यूशन ब्रांच में लोग बाग जोड़ना चाहते हैं। तो आज भी मुझे याद है हमारे ब्रांच के अध्यक्ष महोदय आदित्य जी, जिन्होंने जो बहुत अच्छा काम अभी फिलहाल कर रहे हैं ब्रांच में, और मैं समझता हूँ कि जितने भी पास चेयरमैन रहे सबने अपनी तरफ से बहुत अच्छा काम किया, और अब तो इनके उसमें मेरे ख्याल में बिल्डिंग भी शायद कंप्लीट हो जाएगी इन्हीं के टेन्योर में, तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा कदम रहेगा।
इसमें राकेश सर, मुकेश बंसल जी, आदित्य गुप्ता जी, प्रवीण सिंघल जी, विनीत राठी जी, सब लोग पूरी जी जान से, मैं ऐसा नहीं कि नितिन जी का नाम ले रहा है, अमित तिवारी जी का नाम नहीं ले रहा है, थोड़ा सा और ज्यादा मेहनत करें इसलिए मैंने इनका नाम बाद में लिया है ना। तो क्योंकि दे आर रियली डूइंग वंडर्स, और हमारा 1 जुलाई का टारगेट था, थोड़ा कोरोना की वजह से थोड़ा सा उसमें 1 महीने का मुझे लगता है डिले है, बट मुझे लगता है 15 अगस्त से पहले वी विल सर्टेनली लॉन्च।
बहुत बधाई हो, बहुत मुबारक हो, और हमें पूरी उम्मीद है कि ये अगस्त में जो है बिल्कुल हमें मिल जाएगी बिल्डिंग। एक सपना है, एक सपना मैंने देखा था जब ब्रांच गाजियाबाद की हमने इसकी काया पलट करी थी मेरे साल में, और एक ये दूसरा सपना है अपनी बिल्डिंग होने का, तो हमें बहुत जल्दी देखने के लिए मिलेगा, ये बड़ी खुशी की बात है। और हमारे बीच में हमारे कोऑर्डिनेटर्स हैं नितिन गुप्ता जी और आयुष मित्तल जी, ब्रांच के सेक्रेटरी अमित तिवारी जी। जहाँ तक हमने देखा, अभी बात हो रही थी कोविड के पीरियड की, 2 महीने करीब बड़े खराब गुजरे, परंतु जो है अब जो समय है इस समय, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि जो है वो जो दुख और निराशा की जो बातें थी वो ख़त्म हो चुकी हैं ऑलमोस्ट, और 21 तारीख से तो फिर और भी ज़्यादा ओपन होने जा रहा है। तो मैं समझता नहीं हूँ कि अब गाजियाबाद में भी केसेस ऑलमोस्ट ख़त्म से ही हो गए हैं, तो हमें अब आशावादी रहना चाहिए और उस निराशा के समय से निकल के आ जाना चाहिए बाहर। और हाँ, ज़रूर है, प्रिकॉशन ज़रूर लेनी चाहिए, परंतु जो है अब निराशा की कोई शायद बात नहीं है। और मुझे लगता है कि अब ये जो वेबिनार्स का जो सिस्टम है, ये शायद कुछ हद तक एक परमानेंट देन है एक तरह से कोविड पीरियड की, जिसने हम लोगों को सिखाया कि भाई हम इस फोरम पे भी जो है जूम के थ्रू या और किसी प्लेटफॉर्म पे भी हम वेबिनार कर सकते हैं। और मैं समझता हूँ कि ये कितना सुविधाजनक है कि हम लोग अपने ऑफिस में बैठे बैठे और कोई नॉलेज गेन करने में कहीं कोई फर्क ही नहीं है किसी बात का। तो आने जाने का साधन बचा, स्पीकर्स के भी आने जाने का साधन बचता है, रिसोर्सेज की भी कम लागत आती है, कंट्रीब्यूशन की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। मतलब ये मैं समझता हूँ दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ परमानेंट फीचर ऑफ वो जो है। हो सकता है कि जो है 2-4 सेमिनार साल में फिजिकली भी हो, परंतु ये जो है एक अच्छा एक चीज मिली है हमें। जहाँ तक टीडीएस के प्रोविजंस का सवाल है, ये देखने में छोटे हैं, कुछ ही लाइनों के प्रोविजंस हैं और पर हैं बड़े खतरनाक भी हैं, इम्पोर्टेंट भी हैं। इनका रिपरकशन बहुत बड़ा है। हालांकि ये सबको एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, केवल जो 50 लाख से ऊपर जिनसे परचेज सेल है। और डिटेल में तो जो है सुमित जी बताएंगे, जो आज के स्पीकर हैं। मेरे सीनियर एक तरह से एडवोकेट हैं, इनके फादर जो है, जब मैंने प्रैक्टिस शुरू करी थी, सुभाष जी बंसल, तो उनसे गाइडेंस मैंने ली थी, मुझे याद है आज भी। तो उन्हीं के आप बेटे हैं और इन्होंने एक अपनी अलग पहचान भी बनाई है गाजियाबाद में। तो ये जो प्रोविजंस हैं ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजंस हैं। हालांकि टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ की और 50 लाख इंडिविजुअल केसेस में है, परंतु एक्सपेंसेस जो अगर नई टैक्स काटेंगे तो डिसअलाउंस ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस जो है वो होगा, तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा रेपरकशन है और 1 जुलाई से लागू होने जा रहे हैं। तो इसके बारे में सुमित जी पूरी डिटेल में बताएंगे मेरे ख्याल में। और एक जो अभी रिसेंट अमेंडमेंट हुआ है, मैंने जिक्र तो किया था, अब उन्होंने इसकी तैयारी करी है तो बड़ा अच्छा रहेगा। बताएं अगर 17th अमेंडमेंट रूल जो अभी पास हुआ है कुछ ही दिन पहले, तो अगर थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में भी बताएंगे तो ये बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि सुमित बंसल जी अपना शुरू करें।
Thank you, sir. Chairman of today's session, Senior Chartered Accountant, Shri Rakesh Jindal ji, a very prolific speaker and knowledgeable person himself. Central Council member, very energetic, dynamic, resourceful, always available to help the members, C. Anuj Goyal ji. Past Chairman of the CIRC, CA Mukesh Bansal ji. And I may share that 20 years ago when I was doing my CA, whenever I used to have any doubt in any costing question, I used to consult Mukesh sir, and I had got highest marks in costing, both in inter and final. So he's been a guiding light since then to me. Whenever I feel I am stuck into something, his name comes to my mind, that one person I can call and seek guidance from. My elder brother and chairman of the Ghaziabad branch, C. Aditya Gupta ji. And as Rakesh sir was mentioning, he has brought in with new energy into the branch activities with the guidance of all the senior members and the abilities of his entire team. But it is really very heartening to see Ghaziabad as one of the top performing branches among the ICI. And of course, there is a very high competition among the branches also. Because all over India, as Anuj sir always says, that chartered accountants are very, very dynamic. They are very hardworking and very pro to learning new concepts. We can, whenever any new potential area for practice comes in, for example, insolvency came in, and the highest number of insolvency professionals are amongst the chartered accountant fraternity. And C. Anuj Goyal sir keeps on bringing in new areas of practice. He was conducting a seminar on capital markets just before this seminar began. So all of that gives a very positive motivation to youngsters and also people who have been 15-20 years of experience, that there is a lot that can be done in our field. Coordinator for today's session, CA Nitin Gupta ji, CA Ayush Mittal ji, Branch Secretary, my friend Dr. Amit Tiwari ji, past chairman, our senior and current treasurer, CA Praveen Singhal ji, very energetic CA Vineet Rathi ji, Sikasa chairman, all other eminent panelists and participants and friends. So it is my pleasure to share my whatever little knowledge I may have on this subject, which is TDS. And as Rakesh sir said, that these are probably, provisions of a few lines, but just like GST had changed a lot of things and there were a lot of layers which जो हम परत बाय परत उन्हें उतारते रहे, probably in TDS and TCS provisions maybe I am already experiencing very high number of queries, almost twice or thrice, and one person who comes up with these queries, then another second day he again calls, no sir, I have got confused, what would happen in this kind of a situation. And this is a very apt time for us to deliberate on this topic, because as most of the good top companies today have automated accounting systems, they have a lot of reliance on their accounting softwares. So all these provisions need to be first studied by us. Then we will need to impart that knowledge to the CFOs and their teams, and then they will interact with their IT team, so that the entire ecosystem of compliance is ready by 1st of July, from which these provisions are going to get implemented. So I have prepared a small presentation. Let me just share my screen. I request that I be able to share my screen.
I think you have right. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes.
is it visible and am I audible enough?
Yes, sir, you are.
Right. So topic is recent changes in the provisions of TDS and TCS, and we all know that how tedious these provisions are. But I'll try to simplify things and give a comprehensive and holistic view. And Rakesh sir can add whatever in case I miss something, or he can also share his experience, because certain provisions are new, but the implications of missing out on TDS provisions are the same. We all know what happens if TDS is not deducted or TCS is not collected. And the methodology that I have thought for today's session is that we will first go through the bare provisions, because I sincerely believe that the beginning of learning of any law should be from the bare act. And then I have certain illustrations and certain common queries that I had got from my clients, some other tricky situations that may come up because of these provisions. We will discuss them one by one. So as we discussed, these provisions are coming into effect from 1st of July 2021. We will first discuss section 194Q, and it reads as follows. Any person being a buyer who is responsible for paying any sum to any resident for purchase of any goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakh rupees in any previous year shall, at the time of credit of such sum to the account of the seller, or at the time of payment thereof by any mode, whichever is earlier, deduct an amount equal to 0.1% of such sum exceeding 50 lakh rupees as income tax. Now, who is a buyer? Buyer means a person whose total sales, gross receipts, or turnover from the business carried on by him exceed rupees 10 crores during the financial year immediately preceding the financial year in which the purchase of goods is carried out. So now, because these provisions are coming into effect from 1st of July 2021, this 10 crore turnover would have to be seen for financial year 2021. So any buyer whose turnover is exceeding 10 crores in financial year 2021 would get covered under the provisions of section 194Q. Where any sum referred to in subsection 1 is credited to any account, whether called suspense account or by any other name, in the books of accounts of the person liable to pay such income, such credit of income shall be deemed. Am I audible?
हाँ ठीक है.
Such credit of income shall be deemed to be the credit of such income to the account of the payee, and the provisions of this section shall apply accordingly. So this time they have brought in these provisions. Probably might have been their experience. To give an example, suppose on the day on which purchase is made, if an accounting entry is passed, purchase debit to suspense account, and after 3 months, suspense account debit to supplier account, then in that case, the liability for deduction of TDS would be deemed to have been on the day on which purchase entry was made, even though on that day the credit was given to the suspense account. So they have, in substance, this should all anyways have been the case, but they have brought in within these statutory provisions just to make it, more very clear about this. Now, the provisions of this section shall not apply to a transaction on which tax is already deductible under any other provisions of the Act, or the tax is collectible under any of the provisions of the Act, except for section 206C(1)(h), which, as Anuj sir was talking about, it relates to collection of TCS on sales. So wherever TCS provisions are there relating to section 206C(1)(h), then 194Q will prevail. But bearing that if any other provision of TDS or TCS is applicable, then the TDS or TCS would be deducted or collected under those specific provisions, and 194Q will eclipse. We will deliberate more upon this by way of practical examples as we move forward. So friends, this is for the very first time in the history of budget proposals and Income Tax Act in India that purchase transaction per se are proposed to be subject to TDS provisions. So far, TDS was on specific heads of expenses like professional income or expense of the contractual nature. But here, the blanket purchase of goods has come under the provisions of the TDS. Of course, if it qualifies within the provisions of section 194Q. So now let's understand these bare provisions by way of various examples and queries to make things clearer. So first thing is, would GST be part of the turnover for purchase of calculating threshold limit of 10 crores? This 10 crore limits that we have to figure out for the preceding financial year, would this be the taxable value or the invoice value is the first question that comes to the mind. So, this depends upon the regular method of accounting followed by the taxpayer. In short, turnover as disclosed in audited profit and loss account for the previous year should be considered. And to my mind, unlike under the excise provisions, GST sales is being booked net of GST. Therefore, to answer this query, turnover of 10 crores should be considered without addition of the GST portion. Now, query relating to the GST is whether TDS would be deducted on GST portion as well. So, there is no direct guidance with relation to section 194Q, but there is an old circular which in relation to TDS, which clearly said that the GST levied as part of the invoice shall not be considered for TDS. However, as far as TCS provisions are concerned, there is another circular of the CBDT, circular number 17, dated 29th of September 2020, which says that the TCS would be collected inclusive of GST. So while TDS circular says that the tax has to be deducted without including GST as part of the purchase consideration, but the TCS circular says that the TCS has to be collected by including GST as part of the sale consideration. So this is creating a little bit of doubt, because TDS section 194Q has some color with this CBDT circular of 23/17 dated 19 July 2017, because it belongs to the family of TDS. But at the same time, it also has some color with this circular number 17 of 29 September 2020, because these TCS and TDS provisions are very similar, 206C(1)(h) and 194Q. So that is why if you ask my personal professional opinion, TDS should be deducted without including the GST portion under section 194Q. However, as session chairman was mentioning, that the penalties and the disallowance for non-compliance are very heavy. So maybe unless CBDT gives a specific clarification on this issue, we may say that to be on the safe side of the be conscious, 194Q may also be applied on the invoice value. But professionally, as I said, so in my example also, TDS should not be applied on the GST portion. So for example, if we are buying goods of rupees 1 lakh, assuming that we are qualifying for the other conditions of section 194Q, which are that the turnover in the preceding year of the buyer is more than 10 crores and the transaction with a particular seller is more than 50 lakhs. Now suppose after 50 lakhs, this 1 lakh invoice is purchased from that seller, on which GST is applicable at the rate of 12%. So the invoice value is 1,12,000. TDS should be 0.1% of 1 lakh, which is 100. And therefore the value to payable to the buyer should be 1,11,900. Now another interesting query that came up was, is TDS under section 194Q applicable on import transactions? So friends, as while we read the bare provisions, these provisions are applicable only to a resident seller. And because in case of imports, the chances are that the seller is a foreign party and therefore is going to be a non-resident person. Hence, it's the provisions of section 194Q will not be applicable to import transactions. Now, another set of queries, we can take them simultaneously, is whether 194Q is applicable on services, whether they are applicable on purchase of any machinery or capital goods, and then whether they would be applicable on purchase of any immovable property like land or building. Because normally these are high value transactions, they would cross the threshold of 50 lakhs easily. So these questions have cropped in. If you remember the first line of the section 194Q, it is applicable only on goods. And the way goods are not defined under section 194Q. So the definition under the Sale of Goods Act means that the goods are movable property. And that it means that the services are out of the purview of section 194Q. And immovable property not being goods are also out of the purview of section 194Q. However, there is not going to be any distinction whether these purchases are on revenue account or on capital account. So whether one is buying the raw material, whether one is buying office chairs or heavy machinery, they are all going to be under the ambit of section 194Q. And even if some construction material is being bought for the purpose of construction of immovable property, even on the purchase of construction material, section 194Q would be applicable. Sorry, because at the time when this construction material is being bought, it is in the nature of movable goods. It is only later would it change the nature into immovable goods. So this is very important as to what is on which kind of transactions these TDS under 194Q is not going to be applicable. Now, another query is whether TDS should be deducted on the purchase of software. Sorry. Software, as we know, from the basic premise, the famous case law of Honorable Supreme Court on TCS, that softwares are of two types. One are off-the-shelf softwares, which we call canned softwares or packaged softwares, which we buy off the shelf. And the second are the softwares which are in the nature of services, which is more in the nature of customized softwares and which are different from canned softwares. So in the case of former, they are they have been placed in the category of goods by the Honorable Supreme Court decision. So those kind of softwares, if we are buying and the transaction value exceeds 50 lakhs in a year from a particular seller, then they are going to be hit by the provisions of section 194Q and TDS needs to be deducted. However, if this software is in the nature of services, then of course TDS is not applicable. This section is not applicable on the services, on the input of services. Now this is very interesting, and it came to my mind while I was reflecting upon this section twice and thrice and four times. Whether TDS is liable to be deducted on purchase of jewelry. Jewelry is just an example because normally they are high value purchases which are not connected with business. So essentially this question can also be framed like this: whether TDS would be applicable in case any purchase is being made on personal account. So if I may if I were to further elaborate this question, let's say there is a proprietor who's running a proprietorship firm, business firm, whose turnover is more than 10 crores in the preceding financial year, and then during this year there is the marriage of the proprietor's daughter, and because of which he has to buy jewelry for more than 50 lakhs during that year. So would TDS under section 194Q would be applicable? So friends, unlike some of the other sections like under 194C, there is no specific subclause within this section which excludes the purchases on personal account. So as a corollary, there is, tax is required to be deducted by a buyer carrying on business whose turnover from the business is greater than 10 crores. There is no condition that the purchase should be connected with the business only. Therefore, if a person is falling within the definition of buyer, tax is required to be deducted, even if such purchase is connected with the business carried on by him or not. So in my example, when the jewelry is being purchased for the purpose of marriage of the daughter of the proprietor, TDS would become applicable on that purchase as well. Strange, but this is what comes out from a plain reading of this section. Whether next query is whether tax to be deducted on the purchase of goods by one branch from another branch. So this question has come up because under the GST regime, each branch is for indirect tax purposes, each branch is considered a separate entity, and when if the branches are in different states, then GST is charged even for stock transfer from one branch to another. So this query crops in that whether TDS would become applicable. But friends, under income tax, there is no the entity is PAN based and not state based. Therefore, TDS under this section is required to be deducted by any person being a buyer responsible for making payment to the seller for the purchase of goods. Thus, the existence of two distinct parties as seller and buyer is a prerequisite to construe a transaction as a purchase. The condition of purchase is not fulfilled in the context of branch transfer. Therefore, the provisions shall not apply to answer the query in case of branch transfers, whether within the state or in different states. Now, again, this is one of the most common queries that we all are facing from our clients. Example, let's say Mr. XYZ has purchased his goods worth rupees 1 crore for his business from a single seller, and Mr. XYZ is an eligible buyer for the purpose of section 194Q, meaning his turnover during the immediately preceding previous year was more than 10 crores. Whether TDS is applicable on 50 lakhs or entire 1 crore, this is the first question. And to further complicate this, because the sections are applicable from 1st of July, let's say of this 1 crores, 80 lakhs worth of purchase was already happened in the months of April, May and June 2021. And let's say 20 lakh purchase is happening in July of 2021. So on what portion TDS would be deductible? Friends, XYZ, while the TDS provisions are applicable from 1st of July 2021, but for the purpose of eligibility of counting 50 lakhs, they have to be seen in each financial year. And therefore, the purchases will have to be aggregated beginning 1st of April 2021 as far as the limit of 50 lakhs is concerned. So in my example, 80 lakhs had already happened in April, May, June 2021. Only 20 lakhs is happening in July 21. But for the purpose of limit of 50 lakhs, since it has to be seen from 1st April, that limits get busted. Therefore, this purchase in July 2021 would get hit by the provisions of section 194Q. And suppose, further there are purchases. Another example, let's say from 1st of July, new businesses, purchases started from a new seller, and for the 50 lakhs happen in July, 50 lakhs happen in August. So in August, would the TDS would have to be deducted on 50 lakhs or 1 crore? So friends, first 50 lakhs under 194Q are exempt. Therefore, after the threshold of 50 lakh is crossed, only then TDS would start. And if in my example, the purchase is 1 crore, then the TDS would have to be deducted only on 50 lakhs. That is, once the 50 lakh limit has crossed. Next question. Whether payment of advance before 1st of July 2021 for purchase of goods will be subject to TDS. Now, again, this is there can be two views on this this question, and I'll explain both the views. Unless CBDT comes up with some kind of a clarification on this, The point of taxation is earlier of payment or credit to account of seller, as we read section 194Q. Therefore, in my personal view, if either of this lag happened before 1st of July 2021, then section 194Q should not apply. However, again, I would say that in my own advice is that in case, unless there is a circular, there is complete clarity, and the TDS is only 0.1%, and it does not go from your pocket, till clarity is there, we can again choose to be on the side of caution in this. And if advance was paid before 30th June 2021 and actual purchase is happening in relation to that advance after 1st of July 2021, then maybe one may consider deducting TDS. Even though from a plain reading of the provisions, one may feel that such transactions should not be covered, because TDS applicability comes when whichever of the lag is earlier, and one of the lag clearly happened before 1st of July 2021. Now this interplay between section 206C 1H and 194Q, what happens if the seller is covered by section 206C 1H? So briefly we had discussed it while we were reading the section, but let's take an example. Let's take 4-5 examples to clarify it. Let's say in the example first, the buyer's turnover is less than 10 crores and the seller's turnover is more than 10 crores and the transaction value is more than 50 lakhs. So clearly in this case, buyer is not an eligible buyer under section 194Q, but the seller is an eligible seller under section 206C1H, and therefore the seller will collect TCS on 1 lakh rupees. The buyer will not deduct TDS on this transaction. The second example is where the buyer is an eligible buyer, his turnover is more than 10 crores, but seller is not an eligible seller. The transaction value between the two of them is more than 50 lakhs. So clearly in this, there is no doubt 194Q would be applicable. But the tricky portion is that when the both buyers and sellers are larger parties, they both have turnover more than 10 crores and their transaction among themselves is more than 50 lakhs. So that proviso under section 194Q has clearly said that in such situations, 194Q will prevail over 206C1H, and therefore the buyer should deduct TDS on such transaction, and the seller would not collect TCS. Now, what if both buyer and seller have less than 10 crores, but the transaction is more than 50 lakhs? None of the section will get triggered. Both buyer and seller are more than 10 crores turnover in the immediately preceding year, but the transaction among themselves is less than 50 lakhs. So again, this provisions, neither of the provisions would be applicable. Let's understand this 206C1H and 194Q with the help of this table also. So 206C1H have come up by Finance Act 2020 with effect from 1st of October 2020. And 194Q was not there. So in that 0.075% TCS was applicable in that case. If the customer does not have the PAN, 1% was there. So 194Q is not in question as far as the period 1st October 2020 to 31st March 21 is concerned. Then from 1st April 21 to 30th June 21, again, 194Q is not in operation. But the rate of TCS is now the normal rate, which is the 0.1% from 1st of April. Now, after 1st July 2021, if the purchaser turnover is less than 10 crores, then and the seller turnover is more than 10 crores, then 0.1% TCS would be applicable on seller. But the moment purchaser turnover is more than 10 crores, then TCS would not be applicable, and buyer would be deducting TDS at the rate of 0.1%. But here, if the PAN is not available of the another party, here the higher rate of TDS is 5%. Unlike under 206C1H, where if PAN is not there, then the rate of TCS was 1%. So this is the change between the two sections. Even though I feel that any party who's having a turnover of more than 10 crores and who's having a transaction among themselves of more than 50 lakhs would be under GST registration, and therefore PAN is easily available. We don't even have to ask the other party to provide their PAN. So should not be a problem. From the point of view of buyer whose turnover is, so what has to be done immediately and practically, and what the kind of emails that are floating around among parties, this slide essentially covers that. So one needs to intimate, this is from the perspective of the buyer. The buyer needs to intimate its vendors that the buyer is liable to deduct TDS under section 194Q, and that the said TDS will be deducted on purchase made on or after 1st July 21 in case the aggregate purchase by the buyer from that particular vendor in the financial year exceeds 50 lakhs. So this is simple. The another thing is intimate the vendor that in case they were liable to deduct TCS under section 206C1H, then the vendors do not collect TCS on payments made to them for purchases made or to be made on or after 1st July 2021, because the buyer would be doing the 194Q TDS. And also clarify to the vendor that the vendor will continue to be liable to collect TCS under section 206C for payments made up to 30th of June 2021 or subsequent payments made to the vendor in relation to the purchase made up to 30th June 21. So the another subtle difference between 206C and 194Q is that while TCS was applicable on receipts, TDS in 194Q is applicable on earlier of payment or credit to the supplier, whichever is earlier. So friends, this is these are some of the points that I could think of in terms of section 194Q. While there is no change in the penal provisions, I thought I'll just briefly enumerate them so that it sensitizes the importance of compliance of 0.1% seemingly an insignificant amount of TDS, and especially chartered accountants, because by the time it comes for audit and where we have the onerous responsibility to report under 3CD, already it's quite late. The first penal provisions is under section 40A subclause IA. If the purchaser fails to deduct TDS, then the 30% of this entire purchase would become disallowed. So if let's say the purchase above 50 lakhs is 50 lakhs, on which the TDS comes to only 5,000 rupees, but the deduction could be as high as 15 lakh rupees, which means 15 lakhs into 25%, around 3,75,000 worth of tax may have to be paid for getting to deduct this TDS of rupees 5,000. Then the usual interest of 201 subsection 1A would be there. Penalty under section 221 or under section 271C would be there. Then their prosecution under section 276B could also be there. So I am not going into the details of all this because there is no change in these penal provisions. But what I would like to discuss is one of the remedies which I believe that sometimes we tend to forget. Let's say we have got a case 2 years down the line wherein there has been a TDS survey and they figured out that there is a huge non-compliance with regard to there's a huge non-compliance with regard to having to fail to collect, deduct TDS or collect TCS, and then the financial year has closed. Now it is too prohibitive to deduct TDS from a retrospective date. The other party would have the date for revising the return for the other party would have been closed, and therefore they would not be able to get the credit of the TDS even if one were to now deduct TDS 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line. So there is a section 201 subsection 1 which says, provided that any person who fails to deduct the whole or any part of the tax in accordance with the provisions of this chapter on the sum paid or credited to a resident shall not be deemed to be an assessee in default in respect of such tax if such recipient A has furnished his return of income under section 139. So suppose I am a buyer and I had failed to deduct TDS in respect of a seller, and now 4 years down the line I am facing a TDS survey and this question has come up. I have got a show cause notice. So I have to see whether the deductee, the seller of whom I had not deducted the TDS, whether he has furnished the return of income under section 139, whether he has taken into account such sum for computing income in ITR. तो जो सेल उसने करी थी उसको उसने अपने ITR में दिखाया है. whether he has paid tax due on the income, जो भी उस profit and loss का profit आया है उस पर due taxes दिए हैं, and then all these three things have to be certified by means of a chartered accountant certificate, which is given under section form 26A. It's a very simple one-page certificate prescribed under rule 31 ACB. So I am sure in 99% of the cases in which there has been a TDS default or TCS default, these four conditions would be easily satisfied. And if these are satisfied, then all the consequences that we read about failure to deduct TCS or TCS would go, except for the interest part under section 2011A. And the interest would have to be paid from the date on which the TDS was required to be deposited to the date on which the return of income has been filed by the counterparty. So even that would be only for that limited period, and therefore a huge benefit or a relief that we can suggest to our clients in that situation where he feels helpless that, oh, mistake of my software or mistake of my accounting team, and now I'm facing such a big penalty, a show cause notice. This simple form, and of course one will have to contact his counterparties and take their cooperation in furnishing their income tax returns and a certificate from a chartered accountant, but it can go a long way in providing relief from the harsh penal provisions of TDS. Now, secondly, strangely, or maybe for the right reason, because the rate of TDS is so low under section 194Q and 206C 1H, that there is no mechanism for applying for a nil or lower rate of TDS or TCS under these sections. So lower rate तो इससे ज़्यादा हो नहीं सकता है, but nil rate का भी आप section 197 में जो एक application डाला करते थे, वो यहाँ पे उसका provision ही नहीं है. So this, if one is covered under these sections, there is no other way but to comply with these provisions. Now, Rakesh sir was talking about the certain amendments. In fact, he brought them to my notice 2-3 days ago when we were just discussing about and planning about today's session. The 17th Amendment Rules 2021, which have come up with effect from 8th of June 2021. So they have added a clause 10 VI in Rule 31A sub Rule 4, which says furnish particulars of amount paid or credited on which tax was not deducted under section 194Q subsection 5 with effect from 1st day of July 2021. And what was 194Q5? It was that section 194Q will not apply if any other provision of section TDS or TCS except 206C1H is applicable. So for example, let's say there is a contract and 194C is applicable. It is a composite contract. So there is a purchase, implicit, there is a purchase of goods also, there is some services also, and therefore 194C is getting triggered. Let's say the contract value is higher, 1 crore or 2 crores. So 194C would be applicable in that case. Q will not be applicable. But then in the 26Q, they would provide specific columns. And I think the formats have also been given wherein why 194Q was not triggered in even when the purchase was more than 50 lakhs would have to be reported in that. So that is strange because in any case 194C information would have come in. But then there are many other provisions under this Rule 31A. For example, in case of transporters, there is an exemption that if the PAN is there and if they are quoting their PAN and if their number of vehicles is below certain limit, then TDS is not applicable under 194C, but those transactions have to be reported in Form 26Q. So similarly, they have tried to make it more complex and added this provision here. There are, I don't think so there are any significant changes with respect to 194Q under this rules, change of rules. Now, coming to the next important section that is there, which applicable from 1st of July 2021, section 206 AB. Rakesh sir, we can either take the queries if there are any with respect to 194Q at this stage and then move on to the other changes that have come up, or we can just finish this session and then take all the queries at the end.
मेरे ख्याल में एक साथ ले लेंगे सारी क्वेरीज, और मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा सभी मेंबर्स को कि चैट बॉक्स में क्वेश्चन आंसर के उस मोड में अपनी क्वेरीज भेज दें, तो आसानी रहेगी हमारे स्पीकर को बताने में जवाब उनके. क्यों? ठीक रहेगा?
बिल्कुल ठीक है सर।
तो मेरे ख्याल
लेट्स
में
मूव।
हाँ पूरा कर लेते हैं और उसके बाद में क्वेरीज विल टेक, एंड क्वेश्चन आंसर में जो है क्वेश्चंस अपने लोग बाग लिख सकते हैं. आई विल रिक्वेस्ट listeners to put the queries in question and answer box. Thank you.
Right. So thank you, sir. Let's move on to the another section, section 206AB. This again is being debated a lot. There is a whole lot of confusion. Some people are getting emails from their large suppliers that customers that give us your income tax returns, and the people are then calling back their chartered accountant that we do not want to disclose our income tax returns, what kind of provisions have come in. So this is the whole confusion that is going on. Let's just read the bare provisions and then we will discuss the nuances around it. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other provisions of this act, this is how section 206AB reads, where tax is required to be deducted at source under the provisions of chapter of TDS other than a few sections, salary among them, interest 192A, or any sum or income or amount paid or payable or credited by a person to a specified person, the tax shall be deducted at a higher rate as follows. So the normal rate that is applicable, or twice the normal rate that is higher of twice the applicable rate, or 5%, and in case PAN is not there, then 20%. Then whichever is the higher of these three would have to be made applicable for that TDS. But the important thing is that who's that specified person? Who's that specified deductee? For the purpose of this section, specified person means a person who has not filed the returns of income for both of the two assessment years relevant to the two previous years immediately prior to the previous year in which tax is required to be deducted, for which the time limit of filing return of income under section 139(1) has expired, and the aggregate of tax deducted at source and tax collected at source in this case is rupees 50,000 or more in each of these two previous years. So this is a slightly longish definition of who is a specified person. We will take some examples to understand what are the conditions in this, provided that the specified person shall not include a non-resident. So this section 206AB is not applicable on section 195 in case of a non-resident, unless they have a permanent establishment in India. So this is very understandable. Now, who is a specified deductee, meaning which assessment years have to be checked. So as on the date of deduction or collection of TDS or TCS, so for example, July 2021, as the case may be, the deductor or the collector should ascertain 2 consecutive years for which assessment year the due date for filing of the deductee under section 139(1) has already expired on that date. For example, if the date of deduction is, let's say, 15th of October 21, the 2 financial years that have to be checked, in case of an individual deductee, it would be financial year 1920 and financial year 2021. Since due date for financial year 2021 being 30th of September 21 would have already passed by 15th of October 21. But let's say if in the case of a individual, you are deducting a TDS on 1st of July, then you will have to see financial year 1819 and 1920, because the due date for filing the return under section 2021 has not yet expired. But in case of a company deductee, if you are seeing on 15th of October 21, you will still see financial year 1819 and 1920, because the due date for a company assessee is 31st of October 2021. And maybe these dates may, God knows, may get further extended or not. But the fundamental is that this 206AB is dynamic within the year also. So it's not that for one particular year you will have to check the eligibility of these conditions only once a year. You will have to check after the due date, whatever is the due date under section 139(1) is crossed. You'll again have to recheck in respect of each of your deductees whether you need to deduct tax at double the rate, and then whether both the conditions need to be satisfied. So there were 2 conditions, and rather there are 4 conditions. So the first condition is that both the income tax returns should have been filed for the applicable preceding previous financial years, and then in both these preceding previous financial years, the TDS or TCS for that deductee in aggregate should not be less than 50,000. So again, how would I get this information? either the government will make that available through a tab wherein we will just put in a PAN, and we will get to know whether the assessee with this PAN has filed his income tax returns, the corresponding income tax returns, and whether he has had more than 50,000 of TDS or TCS in his 26th year in those corresponding previous financial years. But if that tab does not come up by 1st of July, which, now it looks doubtful to me, given the state of the new income tax portal that is there, then there is no other option but to then put up emails to all your deductees and elicit this information from them. But clearly, there is no need to get the copy of the income tax return. Just the acknowledgement or that part or the screenshot of that part which shows that the return has been filed should be enough, because whether, if at all, the return has been filed for profit or loss, that does not matter how big is the return. What matters is whether the return was filed or not, and the aggregate TDS and TCS may either you take, if the other party gives the acknowledgement, then you will get to know from the column of the TDS TCS, or you take a declaration from them if they are not willing to share their income tax returns with you. This again is applicable from 1st of July, and this section is applicable to all goods and services. So this is applicable pretty much to all sections of TDS except for the salary portion. This is not limited to just goods. It is applicable to both goods and services. Now, similar provisions have come up under section TCS. Specified person, both conditions to be satisfied. A person who has not filed ITR for both of the 2 assessment year relevant to the 2 previous year immediately prior to the previous year, in which tax is required to be collected at source, for which the time limit of filing return of income under section 139(1) has expired, and the aggregate of TDS and TCS in this case is 50,000 more in each of the 2 previous years. So these are 2 parallel sections. Just there are 2 sections because one is pertaining to TDS, the other is pertaining to TCS. Otherwise, there is no difference in the definition of the specified deductees, and the TCS would have to be collected at twice the rate of the applicable rate, or 5%, whichever is higher. So friends, these were the changes which were applicable from 1st of July 2021. Aside of that, there is another kind of update with respect to TDS and TCS. Whenever we are making any payments to a non-resident, and in case those payments are hit by the provisions of TDS, or in any case the bank requires filing of form 15CA or 15CB, then because these tabs are not applicable as on date in the new portal, the government has given some relaxation, which says that in view of the difficulties reported by taxpayers in electronic filing of income tax forms 15CA and CB, it has been decided that taxpayers can submit the aforesaid forms in manual format to the authorized dealers till 30th of June 2021. तो आप अपने चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट से मैनुअल फॉर्म 15CB ले लीजिए, उसमें UDIN वगैरह सब लिखवा के, and then when the facility, when the new portal is up and running, then they will provide a facility to retrospectively provide electronic 15CA CB, such CA CB forms which were given in hard copy. So just because of the non functioning of the port of income tax, the government has given this via media so that the trade does not suffer, and if any urgent remittances have to be made, they can be made. So friend, these were all the changes which were there in TDS and TCS, and when I was discussing with few of my friends, they were very surprised to see such provisions on blanket provisions of purchase. But if we closely see the intention of the government over the years, I think that a day will come when TDS may become applicable on all the transactions except for few transactions. So maybe, just like service tax, we were in a positive list and then we moved on to a negative list. Don't be surprised in next 5 years there is a negative list with respect to TDS and TCS. The way more and more transactions are coming under the ambit of TDS, it looks like there is no escaping from this ghost. So that is it from with respect to my presentation. I request CA Rakesh Jindal sir to further give insights with respect to the topic. And in case there are any queries, Nitin ji, we can jointly take, or as Rakesh sir says.
Thank you, dear. And it was a very nice presentation and full of knowledge. I think more than 100 members who have joined this session may have benefited. And these provisions will be having far-reaching repercussions, as Sumit told, that 30% disallowance is there, and the tax effect will be too much due to non-compliance of these provisions. One thing he mentioned about 26A form. So I will request all the participants to just ensure that this 26A has to be taken before you prepare your tax audit report, because there otherwise you will have to mention the default in your tax audit report, and if you mention the default there, so the SSC will definitely get a notice. So I will request all the persons where this default has occurred to obtain a 26A certificate from the chartered accountant of the other party before signing the tax audit report. Do you agree, Sumit?
Sumit ji, we can stop screen sharing.
Achha,
And you are having all the qualification, FCA, BCom honors, insolvency.
no, I thought I already stopped it.
No, certificate course, IFRS, certificate course, indirect taxes, international taxes, AML and Benami property, control audit of banks, Jindabad.
अनुज जी कह रहे हैं कि मैंने भी इतने सारे कोर्सेज कर रखे हैं और उसके बावजूद अब कोई मिला है जो जिसके इतने कोर्सेज हैं.
I think now it has stopped.
सुमित जी, ये कुछ क्वेरीज हैं.
हाँ, एक सेकंड नितिन जी.
हाँ जी.
मैं दो तीन चीजों के ऊपर और कुछ कहना चाहूंगा. One thing was कि he mentioned about the advance received before 30th June, and the bill has been received afterwards. So in this regard, I would like to mention my opinion that if advance has been received before 30th June, and incidence of deduction of tax has already happened, so it should not be, I think, on the at the time of purchase. It should not be deducted at the time of purchase, in my opinion. Then, in my opinion, and what I could see, that as far as TCS is concerned, tax collection at source, it will be really very difficult to collect, because the generally goods are already received and payment is received afterwards. So collecting the TCS, you have a great difficulty in even getting the payment of the goods, and in addition to that, you will have to collect the TCS. So I think that is going to create a big difficulty. Then regarding 15 CACB, he has already covered that we can file physical form. As far as this new portal is concerned, that is creating big difficulties, and maybe this compliance of 206 AB may be postponed on account of this, because till today also this portal is not giving support. And but I am sure that this portal is very good as far as coverage is concerned, and the presentation of this portal is concerned. May take some time. I think within a week or so it should be working quite nicely. So now I think we can take queries. Nitin ji.
Sir, there is a query from Sri Hemant Jain. In case of section 206 AB, if only acknowledgement number is provided instead of copy of ITR, will it be applicable?
I think it is.
Sir, see, there were 4 conditions under section 206 AB, which were that the last 2 ITRs should have been filed. So if you have got the acknowledgement number, which means that the ITR have been filed, so that should be enough. But then the another condition was that the aggregate of the TDS or TCS for that deductee should have exceeded 50,000 rupees. So that information would also would need to be taken.
For that also, I think declaration can be taken.
Declaration can be taken.
We have another query from CA Vinay Kumar. If ITR has been filed for 1 year, only either 2018-19 or 19-20, then will the section 206 AB still attracted?
Yes, it will still get attracted. They are saying that it should not be, fly by night. That one of the ITR has been filed. There has to be consistently, at least for last 2 years, he should have been filing the ITR. Otherwise, face higher rate of TDS or higher rate of TCS.
Ayushji, some of the members have raised their hands. Rahul Goyal ji, Anju Agrawal ji, Atmaram Sureka ji, Alok Gupta ji. So if you want to ask any query, you can unmute and ask the query from the respected viewers.
एक एक करके नाम ले लीजिए मेरे ख्याल।
सर वो कभी-कभी गलती से भी हैंड रेज हो जाते हैं ना सर।
अच्छा।
तो due to that reason I have taken all the 4 names. If anybody want to ask any query, Rahul Goyal ji, Anju Agrawal ji,
Rahul Goyal ji,
Atmaram Sureka ji. Yeah, if you want to ask any query, please unmute and ask your query, please.
Sir, we have a query from C. Vinay Kumar. Limit of TDS TCS of 50,000 is for any of 2 years, or do we need to check it combinedly for both the years?
No, it is for each of the years separately.
Separately.
एक सुमित जी क्वेरी है चैट बॉक्स में, विजेंद्र सरन जी ने पूछा है, what if after filing ITR at a later stage it becomes invalid due to some reason?
बहुत सारी .com companies burst हो गई थी.
म्यूट करा दीजिए जरा.
Finest companies which was really doing good.
So, actually, once the ITR has been filed, I believe that the ITR should be considered filed only when it is verified. So if the ITR was filed and it is not verified, and after 90 days it becomes invalid, then invalid means invalid, as good as not being filed.
Not filed.
Sir, we have a query from
Chansal ji ne ka question hai, if last one or both the returns are filed belated under section 139(4), whether the provisions of section 296 AB will be attracted.
See, let's say we are sitting in on 15th of October 2021, and the ITR for financial year 2021, for which the date is supposed 30th of September 21, has not been filed. Then on 15th of October, this provision of 206 AB will get attracted. But let's say if it is filed on 30th of October 2021, and then there is another transaction in November 2021, then they will not get attracted, because this limit of 139(1) that is mentioned under section 206 AB is with respect to figuring out कि which financial year की आपको रिटर्न देखनी है. अगर आपने लेट भी भर दिया है तो भी वो रिटर्न फाइल्ड ही मानी जाएगी.
अनुज भैया शायद आप रेज हैंड को अनम्यूट कर दीजिए, शायद जिससे काफी रेज हैंड हो रहे हैं, जिससे वो क्वेश्चन पूछ लें.
राहुल गोयल है पहले, unmute करते हैं.
There is a query. If any vendor declares any incorrect information in regarding of to total TDS TCS deducted as below rupees 50,000, and he also did not file his ITR, then is there any compliance in the hands of deductor?
See, that's what we were discussing, that ideally the government should provide a window within this new portal where you put in the PAN and you get the authentic information with regard to the other party, whether he is falling under section 206 AB or not. But let's say that information is not available on the portal, at least for the time being, and the other party is giving you a wrong declaration, then there is a set principle under law that one cannot be expected to do an impossible thing. So if he has a bona fide belief that the other party has given a declaration, later on if that declaration turns out to be wrong, then I cannot be penalized because I was led to believe about a fraud.
Yeah. Alok Gupta ji want to ask any query. Alok Gupta ji, please ask your query.
Yeah. My query is this, that if somebody is deducting TCS, charging TCS on the bill under section 2016, 1C, because it was applicable since last year. So now suppose the same purchaser is not able to purchase more than 50 lakhs. So can they continue to charge TCS under 2061C?
As I have understood the query, you are saying that
Hello.
this. हाँ आलोक जी, जैसे मैं आपकी क्वेरी समझ पाया हूँ कि आपके केस एग्जांपल में सेलर तो एलिजिबल सेलर है, मतलब उसकी टर्नओवर तो 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है, बट बायर एलिजिबल बायर नहीं है. सो इस केस पे टीसीएस विल कंटिन्यू टू बी एप्लीकेबल. सो सेक्शन 206C(1)(h) has not become void with effect from 1st of July. Both the sections run parallelly. अगर दोनों में कोलिजन होता है तो 194Q prevails, बट अगर कोलिजन नहीं है तो either of तो 206C(1)(h) will continue to be applicable. सर इसमें मेरा एक डिस्कशन है, नाउ दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 206C(1)(h), व्हिच राकेश आलोक जी आपकी क्वेरी आई होप सॉल्व हो गई. आलोक जी?
Yes, I think yes. Yeah.
तो इसमें मेरा एक ऑब्जर्वेशन है व्हिच आई हैड स्ट्रगल्ड अ लॉट with few of my clients was that whether to collect TCS on the bill itself or wait for the receipts to come in and then issue a debit note, because legally and purely from the language of the act, it should be that TCS should not be charged on the invoice, but once you receive once you get the receipts, and for example, let's say the sale was made in March.
Correct.
And the receipts are happening in April, so financial year or the quarter is changing. So in this case, if you are charging TCS in the invoice, then you would happen to deposit TCS in March quarter. But if actually, as per the language of the provision, the TCS has to be collected on receipt, then it will be in the April, May, June quarter. But then the industry refused, in my experience, totally to go to the debit note mode, and they took their own opinions, and practically, I think most of the people are charging TCS on the invoice itself.
Practically, it will be better to collect it at the time of invoice only.
Invoice itself. Correct.
And the underlying assumption is that because there is substantial compliance of the TCS provisions, just they have been complied earlier than they should have been complied with. So there would not be any adverse implication from the department with respect to that. That is the underlying assumption behind this practically charging TCS on the invoice itself.
Any other queries?
Because and more companies who do not qualify 50 lakhs turnover, they are also charging.
I agree, sir. So, some of the less sophisticated softwares, for example, I have some experience of SAP. SAP, there is the automatically, as soon as the transaction crosses 50 lakhs, it will automatically charge TCS. But in some of the less sophisticated softwares, some of the people started charging TCS on all their sales, irrespective whether the 50 lakhs crossed or not. So they say because it will be much easier in terms of reconciliation. And while there are onerous, penalties for not charging TDS, for not collecting TCS or late collecting TCS, there is absolutely no penalty for collecting TCS earlier, or for collecting extra, or for collecting on something which was not actually required to be collected.
One Anju Agarwal has raised a hand.
This is there.
Anju Agarwal. Then Atma Ram.
कैसी आवाज आती है?
I don't think any other query is there. If you any query in the question box, then you can take.
एक query है sir अतुल जी की, TCS applicable in that case on payment received by party. शायद अतुल जी पूछ सकते हैं डायरेक्ट. अतुल जी आप अपना अनम्यूट करके पूछ लीजिए. एक और है सुमित भाई क्वेरी, प्लीज क्लैरिफाई वेदर satisfaction of all the 4 elements as provided in section 206 AB is essential. For example, an assessor filed ITR for AY 1920 and TDS TCS was more than rupees 50,000, but he has not filed ITR for assessment year 2021, and his TDS/TCS was less than 50,000. Will he be covered under the definition of a specified person?
Please open the unmute.
Unmute कर लीजिए.
Sorry. So in this, in the answer to this query, it will not be covered because, as I said, all 4 conditions need to be satisfied, and in this example, only 2 of the conditions are getting satisfied.
Yeah, I think one query is there of Avdesh ji. Avdesh ji, please ask your query. Avdesh, Aswani Misra ji, please ask your query.
Good evening, sir. My query is with reference to section 206 C1H. So if I have received on account advance payment of ₹1 crore post 30th September 2020, but actual billing is nil, whether I need to pay TCS on that amount?
So it is on receipt for because this is in lieu of the sale that is bound to happen. In my view, 206C1H would be applicable on it.
But in that case, in entire financial year, I have not billed anything. So if you see invoicing sale of 50 lakh rupees, that is not getting satisfied.
सर गवर्नमेंट ने जो 206C1H की जो वर्डिंग दी है वो रिसीट के बेसिस पे दी है. So whether the receipt is earlier or later, 206C1H is applicable. But और बाकी सब sections में तो whichever is earlier होता है. यहाँ तो सिर्फ 1 lakh के ऊपर ही इन्होंने डाला हुआ है. So in your example, even when the advance is received in respect of a sale, 206C1H should get attracted.
Okay, thank you.
Right, विनीत जी? ठीक है ना विनीत भाई?
एक क्वेरी है सुमित जी, whether 194Q will be applicable on purchase of government purchase from government units.
तो इसके अंदर एक प्रोवाइजो था कि गवर्नमेंट विल कम अप विद अ नोटिफिकेशन एक्सेप्टिंग सर्टेन थिंग्स ऑन व्हिच 194Q विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल. तो अभी वो नोटिफिकेशन आया नहीं है, बट आई थिंक इट इज अबाउट टू कम एट एनी टाइम. और उसके अंदर गवर्नमेंट को एग्जाम्प्ट करेंगे, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को एग्जाम्प्ट करेंगे, एक्सपोर्ट ट्रांजैक्शंस को एग्जाम्प्ट करेंगे, सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट की ट्रांजैक्शन को एग्जाम्प्ट करेंगे. जो ऑल दी ट्रांजैक्शंस व्हिच आर एग्जाम्प्ट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू 206C1H, सिमिलर नोटिफिकेशन वी एक्सपेक्ट अंडर 194Q आल्सो.
बिल्कुल. आई विल रिक्वेस्ट ये आर.के. गुप्ता जी to please ask the query. आर.के. गुप्ता सर.
हाँ नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार अनुज जी, भिवाड़ी से बोल रहा हूँ. आर.के. गुप्ता.
हाँ नमस्ते सर. कैसे हैं सर?
हाँ नहीं, उसी ये क्वेश्चन जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के लिए कह रहे थे, तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पे तो टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल है. या राजस्थान में तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल पे मोर देन 50 lakhs पे वो टीसीएस चार्ज कर रहे हैं. तो इन दैट केस तो फ्रॉम 1 July ऑनवर्ड्स वी हैव टू डिडक्ट टीडीएस ऑन दैट.
सर इसके ऊपर ना एक let me just read out. I have a write up on electricity.
वो वो पावर एक्सचेंज के थ्रू है तब तो नहीं है, ऐसा है.
करेक्ट. So correct. So sir वो क्यों नहीं है? Because the notification with respect to 206C1H says कि अगर आपकी कोई इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की ट्रेडिंग हो रही है थ्रू अ पावर एक्सचेंज, देन इट इज एग्जेम्प्टेड. बट अगर डायरेक्टली हो रही है तो उसके ऊपर 206C1H एप्लीकेबल है.
Yes.
As of now, 194Q is applicable on all both type of transactions on electricity till the government comes out with a notification. तो जब notification आएगा तब पता लगेगा कि वो दोनों में से 1 लाख को एग्जाम्प्ट कर रहे हैं, दोनों को कर रहे हैं या दोनों को नहीं कर रहे हैं.
अच्छा गवर्नमेंट से जो कंपनियों को अपन परचेज कर रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट से, वो आप कह रहे हैं अभी नोटिफाई होना है?
वो भी नोटिफाई होना है सर.
तो अभी 1 July ऑनवर्ड्स ना करें, फिर टीडीएस ना डिडक्ट करें?
सर उससे पहले नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगा. अभी तो वी आर ऑन 18th of June. आई थिंक विद इन 2-3 days दिस नोटिफिकेशन इज एक्सपेक्टेड.
अच्छा एक और था सर, जो ऑटो डीलर्स हैं, जो कार वाले डीलर्स हैं, इनके अभी 10 लाख से ऊपर वाले पे टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल है. तो उसपे तो अपन, और जो बिलो 10 लाख अगर कोई व्हीकल है उस पे टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. इन दैट केस वो उस अमाउंट पे वो टीडीएस डिडक्ट करेंगे 1 July से? बिलो 10 लाख वाले व्हीकल्स की जो परचेज है, ऑन दैट अमाउंट दे हैव टू डिडक्ट टीडीएस फ्रॉम 1 July.
सर अगर एक सिंगल बायर को सपोज वो 10 कारें बेच रहे हैं 5-5 लाख की,
सर वो परचेज कर रहे हैं, जैसे मारुति का डीलर है, मारुति से बिलो 10 लाख वाली गाड़ियां भी वो परचेज करेगा मोर देन 50 लाख की, इन दैट केस
हाँ, so TDS will become applicable, sir. Maruti will not
Applicable
collect
होगा।
TCS, rather
Yes.
he will deduct TDS from Maruti.
इसमें एक ये चीज है ना सर, जो जिसपे टीसीएस और किसी सेक्शन में एप्लीकेबल है तो टीडीएस एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा, बट वो ओनली मोर देन 10 लाख पे एप्लीकेबल है, बिलो पे नहीं है।
बिल्कुल ठीक है सर। सो ये जो इन्होंने एग्जाम्पशन दी है वो विद रिस्पेक्ट टू एनी प्रोविजन ऑफ टीडीएस टीसीएस बट एक्सेप्ट 206C1H। तो जैसे आपके केस में जो मोर व्हीकल सेल वाला टीसीएस है वो एप्लीकेबल हो जाता है, तो 192 एक्लिप्स हो जाता है।
अच्छा, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू आरके गुप्ता सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू लॉट
सर।
और दिवाली में सबको ठीक ठाक है ना
हाँ
सर?
हाँ ठीक है सर, ठीक है, ठीक है।
बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेरी थी पर गुप्ता सर,
Yes,
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग।
yes. Thank you, आरके गुप्ता सर, thank you very much.
थैंक यू। ओके,
And we are having Surekha ji, Anju Agarwal ji, Rahul Goyal ji. You want to ask any query?
आत्माराम सुरेखा जी भी हैं।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी। I think he raised the hand, but I requested to unmute if you want to ask any query. Anju Agarwal ji, if you want to ask any query, Rahul Goyal ji, if you want to ask any query, please unmute and ask your query, please. And we are still having 30 minutes, Sumit Bansal ji. We are still having 30 minutes. 30 more minutes.
Stage is all yours. आपको 30 मिनट या 30 घंटे भी आराम से एंटरटेन करके नॉलेज इंपार्ट करके।
अरे हमारे मेंबर्स को सीपी आवर्स नहीं मिलेंगे सर, अगर जल्दी खत्म कर दोगे तो। मैंने इसलिए सबसे रिक्वेस्ट की है, ऑल आर रिक्वेस्टेड टू प्लीज पुट योर क्वेश्चन इन क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर बॉक्स और यू कैन रेज योर हैंड्स टू आस्क द क्वेरी।
वैसे मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँ अनुज जी, आप भी कुछ जो है काउंसिल की एक्टिविटीज या इंस्टीट्यूट के बारे में इस दौरान में कुछ बता सकते हैं?
नहीं, मैं बहुत बताता रहता हूँ सर, सब पक जाएंगे।
नहीं।
अच्छा, एक आदित्य जी ने जो इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं, आदित्य जी बताएंगे। हमारी 2-3-4 वर्चुअल सीपी प्रोग्राम हमने डिसाइड किए हैं। आहुजा जी इज आल्सो कमिंग, सो मे आई रिक्वेस्ट आदित्य गुप्ता जी, चेयरमैन ऑफ द ब्रांच, टू अनाउंस द प्रोग्राम्स, फ्यूचर प्रोग्राम्स।
थैंक यू भैया, थैंक यू। एक्चुअली मेरा थोड़ा सा ऑफिस में आज इन्वर्टर खराब हो गया और लाइट बार बार आ जा रही थी, तो मैं घर पे आके ये कार्य तो मेरा थोड़ा सा रह गया था। मैं साथियों, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि हमारे सुमित बंसल जी मेंबर्स ई न्यूज़ लेटर भी हमारे लिए ब्रांच पे हर महीने एक मेंबर्स ई न्यूज़ लेटर निकाल रहे हैं। उसके मेन एडिटर हैं और काफी मेहनत करते हैं उसको निकालने में। आई होप कि आप सब लोग उसको देख रहे होंगे और उससे आपका जरूर ज्ञानवर्धन हो रहा होगा। उसमें बहुत अच्छे टॉपिक्स हर बार जो भी होते हैं वो उसको लेते हैं। और मेरी सभी मेंबर से रिक्वेस्ट है कि जो भी अपना कोई भी आर्टिकल्स कुछ भी उसमें प्रिंट कराना चाहते हैं तो कृपया हमारे एडिटोरियल बोर्ड से या मेरे से किसी से भी संपर्क कर सकते हैं। दूसरा मेरे को बताना था कि हमारी गाजियाबाद की बिल्डिंग, जो हमारा विद्या का मंदिर, जो हमारा ICA हाउस है, वो लगभग काफी हद तक कंप्लीट स्टेज पर पहुंच रहा है। और आई होप कि हम अगस्त महीने में हम सभी CA साथी अपने उस भवन के दर्शन अवश्य कर लेंगे, उसका इनॉग्रेशन। और मेरी वो पूरा प्रयास रहेगा कि हमारे प्रेसिडेंट और वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ही उसका इनॉग्रेशन करेंगे।
15 अगस्त को कर लो।
Aditya ji, President has already given the consent and he is very taking very keen interest to see that how and they really was appraising the efforts of the team ICI Ghaziabad, that in this time of corona pandemic also all of us are so active and are contributing to see that how we can get it completed, because now it is very difficult to continue our activities in the changing time through the existing building. So within no time, I think we have to really ensure that we do shift into our new building. And I appreciate the efforts of Aditya ji, Vinit ji, and Praveen Singhal ji is trying his level best to see. Amit ji क्योंकि background में है तो इसलिए मैं उनका नाम नहीं ले रहा हूँ। They're trying their level best to see, और नितिन जी थोड़ा सा कम काम कर रहे हैं, अभी और काम करेंगे, मुझे बताया गया है, अभी उनका नाम भी नहीं लिया मैंने अभी। तो we are trying our level best to see that how we can get it completed at the earliest,
Earliest.
because in a building and particularly for the ICI Bhavan, and a number of things are required. See whether it is small building or big building, but at least 100 types of works are supposed to be done, because now it is to be the building in which electronically each and everything can be done. Technology can be used, the latest technology we are supposed to have, the solar energy we are supposed to have. So it is altogether a very, very cumbersome exercise. And with the support of the team Ghaziabad, we are trying to see that how it can be completed at the latest. I will request Rakesh Jindal ji, क्योंकि बिल्कुल राकेश जिंदल जी के घर के सामने हमने जानबूझ के बनाई है ICI भवन, so that वो हमें गाइड करते रहें, एडवाइस करते रहें. तो आदित्य जी एक बार राकेश सर से एक बार रिक्वेस्ट कर लेंगे, एक बार वो इंस्पेक्ट कर लें, सीनियर मेंबर इंस्पेक्ट करेंगे ना, तो जो आपके कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं, आर्किटेक्ट हैं, इनको भी थोड़ा सा लगेगा कि हाँ भाई वहाँ पर कुछ. अभी CIRC चेयरमैन भी आए थे 2 दिन पहले. So continuously our leaders are coming to see that how our branch leaders are trying to get it completed at the earliest. तो एक बार राकेश जिंदल सर आएंगे.
मैं भैया प्लान कर रहा हूँ CA डे पे अपने जो भी पास्ट चेयरमैन हैं उन सबको एक बार बिल्डिंग का विजिट कराने का, जो फ्लैग होस्टिंग वाले डे वाले दिन हम इन सभी लोगों को इनवाइट करके एक बार उसका इंस्पेक्शन बिल्डिंग का अपना करा देंगे.
और आप कोशिश करो ना, अभी टाइम है, 15 दिन है, तो CA डे तक जितना कंप्लीट हो सकता है ना, we can try to organize our CA day in our new branch building itself. ठीक है, before the inauguration, but we can try to.
चलिए.
What's the problem in that?
ठीक.
We should do it there only, if possible.
हाँ, इसी बहाने सब लोग वहाँ पे आ जाएंगे.
एक टारगेट हो जाएगा ना कि 31-30 जून तक, 1 जुलाई तक जितना काम कंप्लीट हो सकता है उतना काम करते हैं. 1 जुलाई का हमने अनाउंसमेंट भी किया था जब प्रेसिडेंट आए थे.
जी.
तो हमें एक्चुअली कोरोना का तो नहीं पता था उस समय तक कि सेकंड वेव आ जाएगी, बट हमने 1 जुलाई का तो अनाउंसमेंट किया ही था.
जी.
So let's try to see that how we can have that CA day celebration. कुछ फ्लोर्स तो हमारे वैसे तो सारी स्ट्रक्चर तो सारा खड़ा हो ही गया है हमारा, काफी कब तक काम हो गया है.
फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड फ्लोर पे तो फ्लोरिंग भी हो गई है. हाँ, सीलिंग वगैरह का काम चल रहा है, हो जाएगा.
विनीत जी आप थोड़ी सी मेहनत करो. विनीत जी आप जाके थोड़ी सी मेहनत करो. प्रवीण सिंगल सर आप और मेहनत करो सर, आपसे आपके काबू में आता है कॉन्ट्रैक्टर.
सर आप सब मेहनत करा दे, आप जो भी होता है सर.
आदित्य जी तो भगा देंगे, डांटेंगे तो भाग जाएगा आदित्य जी के तो डांटने
से. वैसे ये बहुत अच्छा सुझाव है कि अगर हम फर्स्ट को वहाँ पे कुछ कर पाए तो ये सब लोगों के लिए बहुत ही खुशी की बात होगी.
इसके ऊपर हम विचार कर लेते हैं. थोड़ा सा भैया राकेश जी थोड़ा सा रिस्की है, क्योंकि वो जीने वगैरह पे ना भी वो नहीं लगा हुआ है, ग्रिल वगैरह नहीं लगी है.
अरे सर 15 दिन है ना, उससे बोलो ना, वो करेगा.
चलिए सर, मैं
उससे ये फायदा होगा ना,
कोशिश करते हैं, जैसे
फायदा होगा कि स्पीड अप हो जाएगा.
ग्रिल लगने में देर नहीं लगती है.
आप बोल दीजिए ना, 1 जुलाई का है, हमने पहले से अनाउंस किया हुआ है, तो इसको तो किसी भी तरीके से करना है.
जी. ठीक है
ना. ठीक है. जब टारगेट लेके करते चलते हैं तभी काम होता है, नहीं तो हो ही नहीं बात.
ठीक है भैया, उसको कोशिश करते हैं.
घर बनाते हैं उसमें भी ऐसे होता है ना.
और एक मैं बता रहा था कि जब मेरा पिछला चल रहा था कि हम अब 3 दिन लगातार हमने तीनों दिन वेबिनार का एक आयोजन किया. जैसे आज सुमित बंसल जी का रहा, कल हमारा एक वेबिनार है कि हाउ टू इंक्रीज अवर नेटवर्क एंड नेटवर्क. जय छेरा सर हैं, सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर हैं, बहुत ही अच्छा उनका मोटिवेशन होता है, बहुत अच्छी स्पीच है. मैंने स्पेशली अनुज भैया से रिक्वेस्ट करके उनका स्पेशल समय लिया है, और वो वास्तव में हमारे लिए बहुत ही यूजफुल सेशन है. तो मेरी सभी मेंबर्स से रिक्वेस्ट है कि उसको कल सही 6 बजे से जरूर ज्वाइन करें. म्यूट है भैया आप, तो उसको थोड़ा एक प्रोग्राम बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग.
जय छेरा सर इज एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रिसोर्स पर्सन, and it is really our fortune that he will be with us tomorrow. तो डॉक्टर अमित तिवारी जी, प्रवीण सिंगल जी, विनीत जी, नितिन गुप्ता जी, आप लोग जरा मेहनत करके सब जगह सोशल मीडिया वगैरह के आप किंग हैं, तो कैसे किस तरीके से ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों तक पहुंच के ज्यादा से ज्यादा हमारे पार्टिसिपेशन पे बढ़ सकता है. आदित्य जी तो अपनी कोशिश करेंगे ही, चेयरमैन है, ठीक है ना. सुमित बंसल जी से ज्यादा बोल नहीं सकता मैं, ठीक है ना, वो स्पीकर है, क्योंकि आप आज स्पीकर की पोजीशन में है ना सर, स्पीकर के उस पर है, और राकेश जिंदल सर चेयरमैन सेशन है, तो ज्यादा मैं बोल नहीं सकता, पर आप मैंने कम्युनिकेट कर दिया. और जो हमारे व्यूअर्स हैं इस समय, उन सबसे भी मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा दैट प्लीज ज्वाइन tomorrow, and please communicate through email, SMS, WhatsApp, through social media to all our honorable members. And आयुष मित्तल जी अपने यंगस्टर्स में अगर communicate करेंगे ना, so that maximum number of members can take the benefit of his delegation. And it is being jointly along with Ghaziabad branch, Sri Ganganagar branch is also co-hosting, is also the co-organizer of the event.
इसके बाद संडे को एक कार्यक्रम है जिसकी सूचना हम दे देंगे। उसके हमारे गेस्ट स्पीकर सीएम गोलचा जी हैं, वो हमारे ही गाजियाबाद से हैं, जीएसटी के ऊपर उनके सेमिनार है। उसके बाद हमारे को 25 जून को एक कार्यक्रम, हमारे स्पीकर हैं कानपुर से, बहुत ही अच्छा उनका कार्यक्रम है, लिटिगेशन ऑन जीएसटी।
मुकेश सिंह जी कानपुर से।
मुकेश सिंह नहीं है भैया।
अच्छा,
कुछ मैं अभी हिमांशु सिंह जी हैं, बहुत ही अच्छे स्पीकर हैं वो भी, और जीएसटी लिटिगेशन के ऊपर हम लोग
ये हमारा
करेंगे।
सीए डे की तैयारियां चल रही हैं, सीए डे सेलिब्रेशन चल रहा है, सीए डे फोर्टनाइट है ये। आदित्य जी ने और पूरी टीम गाजियाबाद ने सीए डे फोर्टनाइट अनाउंस किया है, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम टुडे अप टू 1 जुलाई। अगर ठीक से दिन गिनेंगे लगभग वो 15 दिन ही आएंगे। तो इट इज सीए डे का फोर्टनाइट पखवाड़ा है हमारा। तो 15 दिन में लगातार हम कैसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा अच्छे से अच्छे प्रोग्राम कर सकते हैं, अच्छे से अच्छे स्पीकर्स बुला सकते हैं।
ये हमारे मेंबर्स का जो है गुड फॉर्च्यून है कि चाहे वो किसी वजह से भी हो, उनकी नॉलेज अपडेट करने का कोई ना कोई बहाना मिल जाता है। चाहे
वो राकेश भाई साहब, ये हमने एक चीज सीखी है कि कोई ना कोई बहाना, मोदी जी से सीखी है हमने, कोई ना कोई बहाना बना लो और उस बहाने कुछ ना कुछ काम कर लो।
बिल्कुल ठीक बात है, बिल्कुल ठीक बात है, होना यही चाहिए।
हाँ, तो हमने अब सीए डे को अपने 15 दिन में हम जितना ज्यादा कर सकते हैं ना, विल ट्राई टू डू इट। और अब सीए डे क्योंकि वी आर गोइंग टू सेलिब्रेट एट अवर न्यू बिल्डिंग, तो ये डिसाइड हो गया आज, है ना, राकेश जिंदल जी की अगुवाई में ये डिसाइड हो गया। तो अब वो हमारी पूरी टीम जिनका मैंने नाम लिया है, अब इनको काम तो करना ही पड़ेगा, करवाना पड़ेगा ये।
वैसे आदित्य जी आप मुझे बताए, एक बार ले चलना।
जी भैया, मैं बुलाता हूँ,
कल का बना लो ना,
कल परसों में एक बार बुला के आपको ना, उससे फिर आपसे उसमें प्लानिंग कर देंगे।
मुझे काम कराने का
करना है वो अरेंजमेंट करके हम वहाँ पे, वो पक्का बहुत अच्छा सजेशन भैया का रहा है।
मुझे काम कराने का बड़ा एक्सपीरियंस है।
हाँ, मुझे पता है, वो आपकी चेयरमैनशिप पे सारा पूरी फंडिंग आपकी चेयरमैनशिप पे
वो भी है, और राजनगर में भी बिल्डिंग जो बनाई है, तो सारा तजुर्बा है इस बात का।
सीए डे पे हम फोर्टनाइट कार्यक्रम के साथ वीक का जो एक कार्यक्रम रहेगा, जो हमारा 30 जून से शुरू होकर और 6 जुलाई तक चलेगा, उसमें हम मेंबर्स के एंटरटेनिंग के कुछ प्रोग्राम भी ला रहे हैं, हेल्थ चेकअप, ब्लड डोनेशन।
आदित्य सर, एक कवि सम्मेलन रख लेते हैं, इसमें चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जो है ना, पूरे इंडिया से जो अच्छे प्रोमिनेंट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं, जिनका जैसे राकेश जिंदल जी बहुत अच्छा, इनका सरस्वती का आशीर्वाद है, इनका बहुत अच्छा गाते हैं राकेश जी बहुत अच्छा गाते हैं। तो इसी तरीके से डॉक्टर राकेश गुप्ता हैं फरीदाबाद से, वो भी 2 कवि सम्मेलनों में, मैंने आज भी थे वो एक कवि सम्मेलन में। धीरज शर्मा जी हैं, वो भी बहुत अच्छा। तो एक कवि सम्मेलन कर लेते हैं, आई थिंक दैट वुड बी रियली गुड। क्या बोलते हो नितिन जी, ठीक रहेगा ना?
बढ़िया रहेगा, बहुत अच्छा रहेगा भैया।
तो मैं एक बार आपसे कोऑर्डिनेट कर लूंगा, ठीक है ना?
ठीक है भैया, ठीक है।
तो इसको अगर संभव हो तो उसे कर लेते हैं।
हाँ जी। तो हम जो है मतलब सीए वीक वाला पीरियड होगा, उसमें हम नए कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे कार्यक्रम करेंगे जिसमें हमारा थोड़ा एंटरटेनिंग भी रहेगा और नॉलेजेबल भी रहेगा। इसमें हम 3 तारीख को एक वैक्सीनेशन का कार्यक्रम करा रहे हैं, जो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है, स्पॉन्सर्ड है हमारे पास्ट रीजन चेयरमैन सीएम मुकेश बंसल जी के द्वारा। तो जो भी मेंबर्स और उनके फैमिली मेंबर्स उसको बेनिफिट लेना चाहते हैं, तो वो भी अपना तुरंत रजिस्ट्रेशन करा लें। और मेरे जो छोटे भाई हमारे गाजियाबाद शाखा के उपाध्यक्ष है, वो इस पूरे कार्यक्रम को अरेंज करने में पूरी जी जान से लगे हुए हैं। विद इन 2 और 3 डेज पूरा आपके पास कार्यक्रम के फ्लायर्स सारे हम जो है मेंबर्स को अवश्य दे देंगे।
अच्छा, एक क्वेरी है सुमित बंसल जी, राहुल गोयल जी की। If we fails to deduct TDS on purchase of jewelry for personal use, what is the consequences?
सर 30% वाली डिडक्शन का तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं है कि जब उसका हमने खर्चा का क्लेम ही नहीं कराया। बाकी जितने भी पीनल कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज हैं, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम इंटरेस्ट टू पेनल्टी टू प्रोसिक्यूशन, वो एप्लीकेबल हो जाएंगे।
यस, थैंक यू। And CA Aswani Misra ji, Aditya ji, is complimenting Ghaziabad branch for organizing such programs and is requesting to organize program on internal audit also.
Okay sir.
एक अभी कोई कॉन्करेंट ऑडिट का प्रोग्राम अभी मैंने पढ़ा भी था कि अभी उस पे कोई कर रहा है होल्ड उसे।
तो ये काम कर सकते हैं हम राकेश जिंदल सर, इंटरनल ऑडिट स्टैंडर्ड बोर्ड की एक वेबिनार इसमें 5-6 हजार चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स पूरे वर्ल्ड से रहे हैं और उसमें अच्छे वो आके इस तरीके से भी कर सकते हैं। मैं एक बार कोऑर्डिनेट करता हूँ IASB की, उसमें करेंगे एजेस में, तो बड़ा प्रोग्राम करते हैं ना कोई।
मुझे याद आता है जैसे ये TDS की आज बात हो रही है, ये TDS का प्रोविजन जो है हमारे टाइम में शुरू हुए थे जब हमने प्रैक्टिस शुरू करी थी, जब तक कोई TDS नाम की चीज नहीं होती थी। और धीरे धीरे ये 1, 2, 3 आइटम बढ़ते 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 और आज ये किस रूप में सामने आ गया है कि भाई जो सेल परचेज के ऊपर भी TCS या TDS लगा दिया है गवर्नमेंट ने। और मैं समझता हूँ इसकी 2 वजह शायद मेन है। एक तो जो है टैक्स नेट में लोगों को लाना, और दूसरा कलेक्शन तो है ही टैक्स का। तो वैसे गवर्नमेंट ने खैर रिटर्न्स की संख्या तो काफ़ी बढ़ा ली है। अब पहले 3 करोड़ के लगभग थी, अब शायद 6.5 करोड़ या 7 करोड़ के लगभग हो गई है, बट इट नीड्स टू बी मोर इंक्रीज्ड। चेयरमैन साहब कहाँ गए?
Yeah, I think Surekha ji want to ask any query. Yeah, Surekha ji, you want to ask any query, sir? Please ask your query. Atmaram Surekha ji.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And RK Gupta sir, you want to ask any query?
हाँ सुमित जी, आप जो ज्वेलरी परचेज की बात पर्सनल यूज के लिए कह रहे थे, तो मैं अगर इंडिविजुअल हूँ और मैंने कोई बिजनेस नहीं है, लास्ट ईयर मेरी टैक्स ऑडिट भी नहीं हुई, उन दैट केस में भी ये अपने को डिडक्ट करना पड़ेगा, मेरे को 10 नंबर लेना पड़ेगा?
नहीं सर, वो तो फर्स्ट क्राइटेरिया ही वो है ना कि मेरी प्रीसीडिंग प्रीवियस ईयर में 10 करोड़ के ऊपर की टर्नओवर हो, देन ओनली फिर आगे ही तब बढ़ेंगे। तो पहले गेट से ही बाहर हो गए।
नेचुरली ठीक है। नहीं अच्छा ठीक है सर, ओके।
ये पर्सनल वाला काफी it comes as a shock. I don't know whether it has this exclusion has been missed out intentionally or by chance it got missed out, because in most of the other sections this exclusion for personal transactions is there, but it is not there in section 194Q.
इंटेंशनली रखा है सर इन्होंने।
सर इसमें मेरा एक छोटा सा व्यू है, स्लाइटली डिफरेंट व्यू, कि would it actually help in terms of and Anuj sir is there, सर के तो फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर भी सुनते हैं, would it actually help in terms of bringing out any new information to the government? क्योंकि अब तो GST जो 10 करोड़ से ऊपर की सेल परचेज कर रहा है, 50 लाख से ऊपर की एक ही पार्टी से कर रहा है, वो तो सब GST के अंडर होगा, ई-वे बिल के अंडर होगा। ई-वे बिल भी अब तो बिल्कुल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इनवॉइस है, तो उसको दोबारा से उस इंफॉर्मेशन को सेम इंफॉर्मेशन दे आर टेकिंग, सी बिकॉज विद 0.1% देयर इज नो कलेक्शन मोटिव, द ओनली मोटिव इज इंफॉर्मेशन मोटिव, बट दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज ऑलरेडी देयर इन द GST बॉक्स। और अब तो वो है भी इन्फोसिस और इन्फोसिस दोनों जगह, वो वहां से तो 2 अलग अलग पार्टी भी नहीं है, वहां एक सुपर कंप्यूटर का बटन दबाओ और आपको पता चल जाएगा कौन 50 लाख से ऊपर की सेल परचेज कर रहे हैं। सो आई पर्सनली फेल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हम अगर पूरी कंट्री के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखें तो आई थिंक 100 करोड़ रुपए का वर्थ की खर्चा हो गया होगा इंडस्ट्री का अपने सॉफ्टवेयर को अपडेट करने के लिए फॉर 2061H 194Q, और लाखों घंटे के वर्क आवर्स चले गए होंगे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स के, which may be good if it has been built, but I think mostly ये इस तरह की कंसल्टेंसी बिल होती नहीं है, बट इसका कोई बेनिफिट मुझे पर्सनली नहीं दिखता है।
I agree.
Yes.
आज की डेट में तो इंफॉर्मेशन सारा नेटवर्क इतना स्ट्रांग है कि इस इंफॉर्मेशन की फर्दर जरूरत थी नहीं।
मैं वैसे भी मैं ये इसलिए डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ इन दिस एलीट फोरम, क्योंकि एक बार 2-1 साल पहले आई रिमेम्बर आई हैड डिस्कस्ड कि सर ये 7 साल की स्क्रूटनी का अब क्या मतलब है जब इतना रियल टाइम इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल है। एंड पता नहीं अनुज सर ने डाला फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर के कान में या किसी ने तो डाला, एंड इट एक्चुअली गॉट इम्प्लीमेंटेड. We were not expected and we were positively surprised कि वो 7 साल से घट के 3 साल या 4 साल पीरियड रह गया. So similarly, even this provision is very very onerous and there is no utility in my view.
और 30% का डिसअलाउंस, वो कितना महंगा है?
30% का डिसअलाउंस है. So
टर्नओवर का
for a trader who may be having a 1% margin, he may have to fold up the business.
बहुत मुश्किल काम है.
One very very important thing I want to share with all of you, that on 22nd our 7 experts from ICI will be having 2 days deliberation with the CBDT officials and Ministry of Finance, and so that this problem of that portal can be taken care of. So our president just met 3 days back with Finance Minister, and we are trying to resolve all the problems of the new platform.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
अनुज सर, न्यू प्लेटफॉर्म पे तो अभी आई थिंक कुछ चल ही नहीं रहा है. एक लिस्ट आई थी कि क्या क्या नहीं चल रहा है, तो
कुछ नहीं चल रहा. बहुत
लंबी लिस्ट पढ़ने के बाद मैंने सोचा कि विनीत जी से कहूंगा कि एक लिस्ट वो बनाए कि क्या चल रहा है.
वाकई में अभी तो बहुत दिक्कत आ रही है.
एक नेगेटिव लिस्ट बन जाए, जैसे वो सर्विस टैक्स में नहीं था नेगेटिव लिस्ट थी पहले, वो पहले बन जाए.
जी. So even though Infosys actually is a jewel of the nation and बाहर की कंट्रीज में बड़ा अच्छा काम करते हैं, बट somehow कई बार वो होता है ना कि इंडिया की पिच पे नहीं खेल पाते हैं. कोई बॉलर ऐसा होता है, वो वाली कंडीशन है.
ठीक कह रहे हैं, मौसम खराब हो गया है इसलिए मैच नहीं हो रहा ना.
I mean the basic expectations have not been met. अनुज सर सुन रहे हैं, मैं उन्हीं को सुनाने के लिए ये सारी बातें ज्यादा कह रहा हूँ. It is very tiring and frustrating क्योंकि वो